To begin our journey in college algebra, we are going to start by reviewing something that is going to come up over and over again, and that is factoring. We'll go through all of the basics of factoring, but this video in particular is going to be about the greatest common factor factoring. So remember, with the greatest common factor, what you're looking for is a number that will divide all of the numbers that you've got and a variable to an exponent that is contained within each of the different terms. So if we look at this first question right here, we can see 12, 15, and 27. Those are all divisible by the number 3. So part of our greatest common factor will be a 3. And then when we look at x to the fifth, x to the fourth, and x cubed, we're going to see that the lowest exponent of x is an x cubed. And so x cubed is contained in x cubed, x to the fourth, and x to the fifth. Now, one other common thing that you need to get used to is that if you look at the first term and that first term is negative, we really don't like those first terms to be negative. So if the first term has a negative number on it, we're also going to factor out a negative sign. So negative 3x cubed is our greatest common factor. Now, one thing that I want everyone to kind of keep in mind when you say the word factor, when you are factoring, what you're really doing is you're dividing. So what we're going to do is we're going to think if we took negative 12x to the fifth and we divided it by 3x cubed, what is happening there? Well, I'll just do this once, but if we take negative 12 to the fifth and divide it by negative 3x cubed, what we're going to see is negative 12 divided by negative 3, well, that's going to reduce to a 4. And we have 5 x's on the top divided by 3 x's on the bottom. So when we see what's happening there, we're left with an x squared. So that's how we can tell what is left on the inside of this after we have factored. So 12 divided by negative 3 is 4. X to the fifth divided by x cubed is x squared. That's what's left. Remember, factoring is dividing. Now, 15 divided by negative 3, that's going to give me a negative 5. X to the fourth divided by x cubed, that's just x to the first, or x. Our last term here, negative 27 divided by negative 3 is a positive 9, and x cubed divided by x cubed is 1. So there's no variables left for the x's, and we close off our parentheses there. Please notice that when you factored out this negative, do you see how it went negative, positive, negative in the original function? And the inside of the factored one goes positive, negative, positive. It flipped all those signs when you factor out a negative. That's a common thing that we're going to see. All right, let's look at our next one over here. What do all of these have in common as far as numbers? Well, they're all divisible by 3. We see that the lead here is a negative, so we're going to take a negative out to make our lives easier. And then you ask yourself, what do all of these 3 things have in common? Well, they have an x. Okay, remember, factoring is dividing. So when negative 3 is divided by negative 3, that's 1. So it's an invisible 1. We can keep it there. What is x divided by x? Well, that's also 1. So what's the only thing left in this first term? The y. 6 divided by negative 3 is a negative 2. X divided by x is 1. And then we have a z left. When I write the letter z, I will write it with a dash through it. When I write the number 2, I will not. So that's how you're going to tell whether I'm writing a 2 or a z in the future. Now let's be careful here because a lot of students see negative 3x is the same as negative 3x, so they just stop. That isn't correct. Remember, factoring is dividing. So what is negative 3x divided by negative 3x? Well, that is 1. Just like 7 divided by 7 is 1, and 40 divided by 40 is 1. Negative 3x divided by negative 3x is 1. So there actually is a 1 here. And a lot of students, when they're factoring out a greatest common factor and it matches, they forget that 1, and it's very important for us to do.